Why are we even bothering to meditate? Meditation is the only true rest your mind will ever get. We have come to this life with thousands of impressions from all of our past lives. Okay. So, what is an impression? An impression is something when you have gone through an experience or gone through something in your life and you have attached a lot of emotion to it. And because it has become so important, it leaves a mark on your psyche. That is an impression. So, by itself, if you, for example, you're a soldier and you kill on the battlefield and you've been in a war, that may not leave you scarred, because you're doing, the attitude with which you're killing is to save your country or to do something good for your country, to, there's a lot of patriotism and a lot of other noble qualities that are attached to it. However, if you break into someone's house and, you with the intent of hurting, you kill somebody, that will leave an impression. Right? So, if we are a collection of impressions, and it is these impressions that get expressed during the course of your life, from beginning to end. You don't know which impressions will express themselves. She says it's like throwing a bunch of seeds into a field. So you throw some peach, some rice, some wheat, some coconut, some fruit trees. After 1 week the rice comes up. After 2 weeks the wheat comes up. Each one has its own timing to come up. We don't know why certain impressions come up and why certain things manifest. Right? So your karma is not like a bank balance. It's not like what you sow, so shall you reap. It's basically the impressions left by in your past life. Only what has remained. So if you were supposed to, supposing I took you on a past life regression, you will not remember things that are resolved already. Only the unresolved will come up. So if you all have read Many Lives, Many Masters, that girl went through so many different lifetimes, and in each lifetime, the issues that she had or the trauma that she faced was unresolved. Therefore, it was recalled. When I went to see Brian Weiss, I went directly into meditation. He said, close your eyes. I went, closed my eyes. And then he says, relax the body, take a deep breath, and I was gone. I was deeply in meditation. I had no memory of anything coming up. Everybody around me is having these great experiences, and I'm looking at them and saying, I remembered nothing. Either this is my very first life, or I have resolved my issues. One of the two, I don't know. But at least in that session, I did not recall anything. When you meditate and when you do regression, you go into that same space, right? It takes several hours to get into that space of regression, recalling memories from your past life, right? Meditation you can get into like that. Once you get into the habit of meditating, you can slip into that feeling very easily. All I need to say is just sit down, close your eyes with your back straight, and that's it. You've already got into that. You already know what's coming. Now it's going to be I just have to relax. And you'll slip into it. That's the beauty of it. What happens during meditation? Why are we encouraging everybody around this world to get back to our ancient spiritual practices of breathing and meditation? The breath is the connection between the body and the mind. The movement of prana is connected to the breath, right? You go through your entire life completely unaware of the one thing that sustains your life. breath is what sustains. The in-breath is the first thing you take at the time of birth. And the out-breath is the last thing you do before you leave this world. You need to become completely familiar with the in-breath and the out-breath to understand that they complement each other. The out-breath is not that much more sad than the in-breath. There is no difference between the in-breath and the out-breath. In fact, the out-breath is all about relaxation and letting go. Just like you do at the time that you pass from this earth. We are so frightened of that moment in time when we have to go from this earth. What is it? It's just an in-breath we took when we came and an out-breath that we'll take. We won't breathe in again. That's it. That's how it's going to be. Be extremely familiar with it so it doesn't frighten you. You don't get frightened every time you go to sleep. Coming into this life and leaving this life is very much like going to sleep. You go to sleep and then you wake up and it's a new day. You leave this body and when you wake up, it's in a new body. It's quite similar to that, so it's what the ancient sages say. I have no memory, no recollection of any of this. Like I said, I cannot recall any of my previous lives. I just go into meditation. But why I meditate is because, just like my daughter said, now it's when I don't meditate that I notice my behavior going back to old patterns. As you begin to meditate, a certain calmness takes over your life. The day stretches out before you. Like you've only taken out 20 minutes in the day, but the rest of the time feels expanded. Now, if you don't feel that already, it just means you haven't tried the meditation. You need to experience the effect of meditation over one blood cycle. What is one blood cycle? About 6 weeks is when your whole entire blood replenishes itself. So all the blood cells in your body will go and new blood will be in your body, right? And that blood is going through and reaching every part of your body. The vibrations from your meditation, the relaxation goes everywhere in your body. The blood is what carries toxins from one place to another, right? And it is deposited in different chakras. It is deposited around your organs. It is what results in disease. So try doing it for one blood cycle. Everybody will say 6 weeks, 40 days. They always say 40 days after your birth, your uterus will get back to its shape. That 40 days is one blood cycle. So try doing it. What does meditation do? It releases toxins from your body. It releases impressions. Some impressions. It won't release every impression that you have. All that has started to work in your body, that's already in play, will continue to be in play. Once the karma has started taking effect, once that job is gone, once that spouse has passed away, it has happened already. Whatever karma is going on in your life will continue to go through. Meditation releases a lot of the accumulated stress. I always talk to you about a manageable level of stress. We have stress every day and we need stress. If we don't have a certain amount of stress, we'll not do anything. We'll be sitting in one place, extremely peaceful and happy, on a park bench from morning to night. We need little bit of stress, a little bit of fear to propel us into action. Okay? But we have to keep that at a manageable level. And what the meditation does is it permits you to observe the thought rising. Become aware of your mind. When I say that, become aware of a thought rising, and most often what happens, because you're so calm, that thought rising just dissipates. You forget what that thought was. Have you had that experience during meditation, any of you? Or do you clearly remember what the thought was when I say that? It goes away, right? So that is that ability to observe that feeling rising, that thought rising. So when you feel that stress, you're getting in your car and the traffic is built up and that stresses you out, going and stopping and starting, that feeling is coming, oh my God, I'm going to be late. That is when you get that feeling, say, okay, now that feeling of meditation, relax. Close your eyes, relax. You just imagine me saying that to you and get into that feeling. So it helps you avoid the real stressors in your day that cause you to feel the way you do. The point is, you have to, at the time, make it a practice of recalling the sensation of meditation. Don't close your eyes when you're in traffic. Yeah. It's just recalling that feeling, okay? That feeling of being totally calm. And things, if you continue to meditate 6 weeks, 12 weeks, you'll see the effect by 6 months. If you look back, you'll see how you would have changed as a person. Things would be completely different. Your situation will completely change, because it's like dropping a coin into a stone into a river. You drop it, the ripples keep going. They never end. The effect of your meditation will reach out everywhere. You've noticed that if you're in a bad mood, how the whole house gets affected, right? Everybody gets, you say something, she says something, somebody else will shout, everything goes wrong that day, It's all dependent on your mood. One calm person in the house changes everything. Have you ever seen the feeling you get? I don't know if you've ever gone in front of any holy man, any Swamiji. As soon as you get into that, his or her aura, automatically everything comes down. All your problems go out the window. When I go to see Sri, I always plan certain questions I need to ask him about my life. And I'll go and I'll sit there and nothing will occur to me. My problems dissipate in that energy. They meditate all the time. They meditate much more than we do. The quality of their consciousness is very light. It's very clear. And that has an effect on us. So if you meditate, it's not only that it's going to have a good effect on you, it's going to have a good effect on everybody around you. People think that meditation is strange. It's weird. I don't have time for meditation. I don't have time to do this. I have to go to work early. Just that analogy I gave you right before we started. You don't brush your teeth. You're going to go to work with a stinky mouth. Don't do that. You'll never do that. Somebody has trained you to use Colgate or Crest or whatever. You will remember to do that. So then why aren't you cleaning your mind so that the whole day you're not covered and you're not emanating stinky attitudes? You need to be a good person to be around. Who wants to hear bad things about others all the time? Who wants to be around such a person? You'll be interested a little bit. You be around a person who gossips more than 10-20 minutes, it'll make you feel agitated. If you have that ability to observe your own state of mind, you'll see that as soon as we start talking about things that somebody didn't do properly, somebody didn't do this right, somebody didn't do that right, this one, how could they do this? It'll begin the agitation. You want everything to be peaceful and quiet. Nobody is perfect in this world. Ultimately, no one can answer why you are here, like I explained to you last time. But the point is, you are here. It doesn't matter why you're here, what you're here for. You have to face your life, and you might as well do it with right action. And right action comes only with a calm mind. You can never take a good decision out of intuition. Not intuition is the wrong word. Out of intuition, you will take a good decision. But in a rush, like when you are running away from a fire, perhaps that's the only time you'll take a good decision. Right? When you're running away from a burning building or running from a fire, you'll take that decision. But if you, at that time when you're doing that, you will notice that your adrenaline will be pumping. Right? You're working out of adrenaline. You can't live like that. When your adrenaline pumps all the time, your heart rate is higher. Your blood pressure is higher. There's a lot of stuff happening to your body. You cannot live with everything elevated all the time. That is what is stress. That's what constitutes stress, and that is what manifests in disease ultimately. The body is going to face disease at one point and the other. We're all not only a product of our mind, we're a product of our body too. So our ancestors in the past had diabetes, it might come. Or our ancestors had spine problems, it might come. Or you might have a seizure disorder, you might have a heart defect. That cannot be avoided. It is a question of how are we facing all our problems? How are we dealing with it? Are we saying, oh my God, the whole world is so happy, yet I have got this debilitating, only me, I have to have diabetes, only my child had to have diabetes. Everybody else's child is so healthy. Well, meditation helps you to put things in perspective. You don't see things so much as black and white. You see a more grey scale. You stop reacting to things as being so crucial or so unimportant. Everything has got its proper place, right? But it doesn't come alone. You can't just meditate and think that your life will be perfect. Don't. Until you start applying the knowledge every day. Can you turn off that phone, whoever's phone is blinking? So how do we develop the idea of meditating each day? You just do it. You just have to set aside a time in your day. I do it as soon as I wake up. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'll brush my teeth, I'll sit down to meditate. I do my breathing, I do my pranayam, I do my meditation. 35 minutes, I'm done. At least once a day. Evening time is, it would be great if you can meditate twice a day. But if you're busy and you're working, you got kids and you got other things, do it at least once a day. And we have some of you may have the meditation tracks. Guided meditation helps because you're used to hearing my voice for the meditation. So as soon as I say that, close your eyes, sit comfortably, you will go into that space. So that's good for a while, right? Ideally, we should be sitting quietly for 20 minutes but you have to, understand that requires a lot more training. What I teach you now is guided meditation. Personal meditation is a different experience totally. You can do mantra, you can do many other things, or you can just sit quietly. But give yourself that practice. Put on some music like Hema was doing. Some people need to do that, right? So Start the habit.
From upstairs, yeah.
Start the habit of meditating.
Not my phone. I thought it was mine.
I thought it was mine. Never mind. The phones keep beeping. Life keeps going on. We're dragged by all kinds of things. But we need to make this time. It's very important. We make this time. And collectively, the connection between this group will become fabulous. Because you all are connected in consciousness, which is a much deeper connection than any blood connection, any marriage connection, anything else. To be connected in consciousness is beautiful. And that's something to understand. It's something very different. Sometimes you'll find that your family, a spiritual family, is not your blood family. And you'll connect like this in consciousness. We will expand this consciousness to include the town we live in, to include the community, and abundance comes that way. You meditate because happiness is your birthright, and by that virtue, abundance is also your birthright. Have a vision of where you want to be and be that. That's all. Nothing more to be said.